Well, hi everyone. I'm John Retlin back with a double review of two more Netflix original movies that I just saw, with the connecting theme that they were both directed by McG, who directed Charlie's Angels and Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. You know, the good ones. Sure, they were good. They're actually guilty pleasures, but they're not all that goddamn good. And also, the connecting theme is kids dealing with shit being whack, yo. Yep, I'm gonna sound as white as goddamn possible. It's The Babysitter and Rim of the World. Like any multi-movie reviews that I do, there's gonna be spoilers throughout, but I will say that I liked one of these a whole lot better than the other. Now, that doesn't mean they were both bad, and I encourage you guys to check these out, but as you're gonna hear from, as I get into some spoilers here, I enjoyed one quite a bit more than the other, like The Babysitter. And it has a boy named Cole who's a nerdy kid who does have a good relationship with his babysitter, B, played by Samara Weaving, who would later be in Ready or Not, a movie that I really liked. I really liked that one because it hit the perfect sweet spot of comedy horror in references and just a cast having fun. You could tell they were having a blast, and it just hit that perfect spot. It really had a lot of good comedy and a lot of really good gore. And this was, I don't want to even say a much more toned down version of it, but it was obviously a cheaper version. But what was nice about it is it just had a nice breezy feel to it. It didn't take itself too seriously, but it knew when to ramp up the gore to just throw it in your face. So yeah, you got Cole and B. They have a really good relationship and everything. And a girl that Cole likes that's in his school says, "Hey, well, if you like your babysitter, you should probably see what she does after you try to go to sleep." So, what's going to happen? What's the worst that could happen? Oh, what could possibly go wrong? Everything, Bubsy. So he decides to stay up. But before he goes to bed, she's babysitting him and wants to hand him some alcohol. A little bit weird to hand a 12-year-old kid alcohol, but she hands him that. And then he says, "Well, hey, wait a second. Why don't you get some? We could do a toast." He dumps it in the plant nearby. And then he pretends that he drank it. She drinks it, and then it turns out that she drugged him because it's a group of friends that are there after Cole pretends to go to bed. B and her friends, also one of them, Bella Thorne, who plays a ditzy cheerleader. So pretty much this, she plays a ditzy, crazy role. So pretty much close to the same thing she played in You Get Me. If you saw that, I'm sorry, but I did review that one also. So anyway, after, a fun night, he sees his group of friends. They're playing Spin the Bottles. There's this weird nerdy kid that's brought there. And, he's suddenly sacrificed. And it turns out it's a satanic death cult. Because every babysitter is part of a satanic death cult. And it turns out that they need a human sacrifice there. Blood sprays all over. It really gets really silly and really ridiculous. And it turns out that Cole's needed to be part of a sacrifice. They need the blood of an innocent. And she drugged him because she put drugs in the alcohol, but unfortunately, since he didn't drink it, he heard all this stuff. They take some of his blood, but they don't kill him, but they're gonna kill him because they have to sacrifice him, because as satanic death cults do, they must do that, at least in movies. I don't know if there are actually any out there. I mean, not that I'm the head of one or anything, but you don't need to know about that, and hopefully the audio cut out right there. Anyway, so eventually they capture Cole. There's some funny lines and everything. The cops are called because Cole called the cops. They get busted up, especially one guy getting his friggin' head just ripped open because he had a fireplace poker jammed in it. It jammed right in his eye. Of course, the black guy dies. Dies by getting pushed over some stairs by tripping on a toy, and his neck goes right through a goddamn trophy. That was some pretty good stuff. And then Cole ends up dispatching them as time goes on. He dispatches the gothic Asian girl that's in there. I didn't catch her name, but getting her in the crawl space, and then there's a lit firework, and he uses some spray to set her on fire. But before that, she says, "Well, I'm gonna be making a human self centipede," and I can appreciate that. So I can appreciate at least that joke. There's a fog machine because we need to go back to more of the 80s, and apparently we aren't referencing enough older horror movies. The jock guy gets hung from a tree. B stalks him, and turns out he's not the first kid. She has been doing this for a while, and she really does like Cole, but she needs to do this to stay young. So he burns the book, and then gets a muscle car from the girl that he likes. Turns out to her dad, it was like his midlife crisis thing, and he drives it through the house, crashing into the house, and crashing into B and killing her. Or does he kill her? No, we see a post-credit thing, and apparently she's alive. And I guess we're getting The Babysitter 2, Electric Boogaloo, so I will be reviewing that if it comes out on Netflix. I will say that it's funny, bloody, and it's just fun. It is a fun romp, so I'm going to actually give it the same grade as Ready or Not. Even though Ready or Not was just a little closer to an A-, I gave it a B+. I'm going to give this a B+, because it was a lot of fun. Now let's move on to something I didn't like nearly as much, but I did want to enjoy, Rim of the World, and again, directed by McG. And it begins with this alien mothership that attacks this space station, and this one astronaut woman sends down these coordinates is going to send these coordinates to this base to find a defense to destroy these aliens, in a way to destroy these aliens, basically. So what ends up happening is these kids are at a summer camp. It's kids of various ethnic backgrounds and everything, and different walks of life. One's an orphan, one's a criminal, one's a rich kid that's losing everything because his parents lost everything, and one's a nerdy kid. I wonder who the hero is going to be. The nerdy kid that's afraid of everything, played the character of Alex. And here's the thing about it. It tried to be like the Goonies mixed with an alien invasion, and the problem is the kids in the Goonies had life and exuberance to them and well-roundedness, and it just hit that perfect spot of just having a lot of fun with its material, and all the kids worked well together. And the kids work well together here, but the problem is, since it's an alien invasion movie, you have to show aliens. They show 3. One alien that pursues these kids for a while, and then two dogs, so to speak, like 2 creatures that pop out of their backs and are like attack dogs, because even though these other aliens have like multiple limbs, they can't go as fast as these littler ones. The creatures look like shit. I mean, they look like absolute shit. And I know this movie probably has a small budget, and I like the concept, because having kids fight back against aliens, Super 8 did it, and a bunch of other movies have done it. But the problem is, this is no Super 8. This is barely Super .8. It was what it was. You have a Chinese girl who doesn't speak for a while and then starts quoting, making pop culture references and everything. What we do in life echoes in eternity. She quotes a lot of Gladiator in that little speech. The kids end up, before that, seeing the astronaut pod crash, or space pod crash to the ground, and that female astronaut that was trying to send the coordinates hands them the key and says, "Here, go, take it to this Dr. Fielding at this JPL, this place that can, where you use this thing, you can actually find a way to fight back against these aliens." So they do that, and the problem is the kids don't ever shut up. And I know that sometimes it's nerves and you gotta have comic relief and everything, but comic relief only works if you're funny, and this wasn't funny. The kids actually started to grate on my goddamn nerves. Now, did they act like kids might usually act, like preteens or just, into their teens? Would they act like, where some use defense mechanisms, humor, and all that stuff, and some try to be rational? Sure. It's just very cliche, and it didn't have nearly as much fun with it as it should have. They get rescued by the military, but then the military gets dispatched. They take the key again. It turns out that Alex lost his dad in a house fire, so every time somebody says, "You have to let me go," he has flashbacks of that, and that plays into the end of the movie. And well, they have to get, after dispatching the alien, or at least they thought they did, they go to a mall and they have this weird montage and everything, and there's this one mannequin, after they change their clothes to maybe avoid the alien having their scent, one mannequin is holding a lightsaber, and the kid says, "Hey guys, it's Mannequin Skywalker." And I'm ashamed to admit that I laughed at that, because I would have said the exact same thing in that situation. So they go to this facility that's destroyed completely, but they have to do the backup generators, and everybody's got to separate, and we got to do 3 different people in 3 different scenes trying to get back together. And the kids have some unity, and they fire up this thing called Project Excalibur. There was something to shoot down Russian missiles during the Cold War or something, and yeah, so that basically happened, and they dispatched the mothership, and then they dispatched the alien because they fire up this, engine that just happens to be in this lab, and yeah, everybody's got a happy ending and everything, and please do not give us Rim of the World 2. We do not fucking need that. So, in short, can't recommend, but I will give it a C. It's average. It's got its moments, but it is very average. I barely gave it a passing grade. Like, I barely gave it a thumbs up on Netflix only because I was like, what the hell, why not? But anyway, that's going to be my review right there. Babysitter, much better than Rim of the World. And I hope you guys enjoy these reviews. I will be doing more since I got a lot of Netflix originals piled into my list. So I'm going to be trying to do more of these reviews to mix them up with the wrestling reviews. Easy for me to say. So I hope you guys enjoy them. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.